So thanks for coming out tonight for the last part of your Easter holidays. So my name's Cynthia, and this month we've been talking about anger. Is anyone new here to Monday nights? I think you're new. Oh, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. So a special welcome to you. But I was going to say Monday nights are an introduction to Buddhism and meditation, and we rotate teachers every month. And we talk about different subjects. So if what I say doesn't resonate with you, or my style doesn't sort of fit in with the way that you process stuff, there'll be a new teacher next month. So don't give up. If any teacher puts you off, just try the next one next month and see how you go. And that probably applies to everybody here as well. Okay, so yeah, as I said, this month I've been talking about anger, what it is, and the triggers, and the consequences. So last week I started talking about how we can deal with our anger, and this week I'll continue with some more strategies and talk a bit about karma. And I'll just sum up the last 2 weeks, because there's a lot of stuff that we did cover. Okay, we tend to get angry when people or things stand in the way of our desires, of what we want to have or want to happen. Anger leads to poor decisions. Anger gives you a distorted negative view of the object or situation. So I'm just summing up, I won't expand on those points. Getting angry makes things worse. It doesn't fix anything. So as Geshe Doga says, our wound is not healed with anger. If someone stabs you, stabbing them back doesn't heal the stab wound. Angry people are not happy people. Anger isn't permanent, so we can get rid of it. And we can replace anger with positive states of mind. I was talking about the up spiral rather than getting down in that spiral of anger and misery. You don't want to go down there, you want to go up there. And we started looking at some strategies last week for handling anger, including the block of wood, where we don't respond. When the anger comes up, just breathe. And this is a good one for when the anger just comes up and you can't really think or intellectualise anything. Just block of wood. I spoke about giving the other person the victory. Like when I was driving, actually I'm summing up, I can't expand. But yeah, retaliating with anger is not a winning response. So sometimes you have to take the hit for a better outcome for everybody, tame that ego. Actually, I will quickly talk about giving the driving example. If somebody does something stupid on the road and you swear or whatever and you're angry and it might get into road rage, it's not a winning response. You just got to calm down and just give the other person the victory. You don't need to tailgate them, you don't need to chase them, you don't need to flip the bird, whatever, you don't need to do anything. Give them the victory, they've done it, okay, move on. So the ego, usually in the car, is the one that gets upset, so just tell that ego to go away. Okay, having said that, patience and calmness is the main antidote to the toxic poison of anger. And mindfulness is another strategy, being fully present in the heat of the moment. There's a couple of things to this, but last week, when the anger comes up, you feel the anger and hopefully it'll dissolve. Okay, so these are mainly strategies to apply when the anger arises. And this week we're going to cover more about training ourselves in advance. Like training our mind before we go into battle with that enemy of anger. So we need to be prepared, to be battle fit. Okay, so we're going to continue with that, looking at ways to train your mind now away from the heat of anger, so you'll be better prepared when you meet that moment, which we always do. Okay, meditation plays a large role in this. So we always do meditations here on Monday nights for a reason. Meditation helps cultivate a peaceful mind and it trains the mind in a positive way. We become familiar with the positive. There are relaxation meditations, which people do a lot here on a Monday night, where you focus on the breathing, or ones where you scan your body, and even scanning your body and progressively tensing and relaxing each part. So these practices train your mind to be centred and composed, reducing the likelihood of anger taking control. So this is sort of like a work in progress to calm your mind down, to be centred, be composed, be a patient person, be a mindful person. So you can do that through meditation, and that's why you've got to do meditation regularly. So I was talking about meditation last week, about building up a regular practice, a regular habit. And to build up that habit, you've got to do it every day. They say, 25 days or something, and you build up a habit. So today I was getting tense about this talk, so I wanted to, I don't have time to meditate. And then I thought, no, I will. I told people last week that if you don't have time, just sit down where you normally meditate, and even if it's 7 breaths. So I did that, got up. I actually felt good and thought I'd really like to go back and do some more. And that's a good thing, actually, chopping it off before you get sick of it. And then you'll want to come back tomorrow. But at least I'm maintaining that habit of sitting there. Okay. So, last week we spoke about mindfulness, being aware of the anger and feeling it until it dissolves, like feeling the pain in your knee when you're meditating, and then you concentrate on it, you feel it, and it somehow dissolves. Now, there's an excellent book, Meditation, Calming the Mind, Bob Sharples. He's a former member of the TI community. He's retired somewhere out of Melbourne. He used to run the healing group here. He's a meditation teacher. He was a psychologist and a counsellor. He worked with Ian Gawler, and he wrote this book on meditation. And he says, in mindfulness meditation practice, the instruction is to keep coming back to the present moment, observing what is here rather than what we would like to be here. So we don't have the storyline of what we want here. We observe what is actually happening in a situation with your family or at work. And he says this practice of observing will help us to maintain stillness in the face of what life throws our way. So we'll do a mindfulness meditation. So get into a comfortable posture. So sitting on the chair, on the floor. The main thing is to have the back straight, and you can have your eyes closed or half closed. And we tend to put our right palm on the top of the left and put just the thumbs together, but whatever, some people like to go like that, but in this tradition we do this, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And relax the shoulders. You can give yourself a shake if you like. But the main thing is back straight. Maybe untense the jaw. Okay. Think about your motivation. It could be the wish to be more aware so you don't fall into the trap of anger so easily. So close or half close your eyes and take a couple of deep, quiet breaths. So bring to mind a person that triggers your anger. So someone who triggers your anger, a family member, a colleague at work, a frenemy. Try to think about what you think is going on in a particular situation where they've made you angry. Now, moving from thoughts to feeling, where do you feel this anger in your body? In your face, in your chest, in your clenched hands? So think about that angry situation, that person who made you angry. Where do you feel this anger in your body? visualising the situation and the person who you're angry with. Feel that anger, but don't get caught up in any commentary or judgment. Keep feeling that anger some more, and hopefully at the stage you'll try to let it melt away. We'll go back to the person and the situation, or the person that made you angry. So we'll go back to thoughts. Think more about why you were angry or annoyed. Is there something else there than what you first thought? So basically we're looking deeper. Was there a desire that you had that the person was getting in the way of? Was it maybe about a promotion that they were sort of plotting against or something? Or are you not getting something you want? Is that why you're angry? Is there an attachment there? Did they scratch the car? So you're angry with them, but the scratch is on the car. Or did you expect something else to pan out? Now, what we can do is just imagine flooding ourselves with lots of healing, bright light all throughout our body. So as if a light switch is turned on. So forget about that anger now. We're going to feel that beautiful light throughout your whole body. So feel that light and warmth, and just extend it to that person who annoys you or who makes you angry. Don't think of reasons not to, just send that warm, bright light to them. Okay, so let's dedicate. Usually at the end of the meditation we dedicate the positive energy we've created. So we can say something along the lines of, may all beings be happy, including myself, or whatever you like. We can dedicate any positive energy to the Pope who passed away, and may he have a fortunate and, quick rebirth. Okay, now open your eyes. You can take a few deep breaths and come back into the room and have a wriggle around. Okay, so there's a few things here which we'll talk a bit more about later, but certainly with anger, when we first get angry, we may misread the situation, so we don't quite know what's going on, and also a lot of it's got to do with our own stuff rather than what the person is doing. And sending that healing light to them We don't know. We did a meditation a couple of weeks ago about how we don't really know what's going on with the other person, if they're struggling or anything like that. So we just send them light. But even if they're horrible people, you just send them white light anyway. There's politicians I don't like, and the best I can do is send them white light, and hopefully something will go right in their head. So I can talk pot calling kettle black, but yeah, we all need that healing white light, right? So we shouldn't begrudge sending our enemies or people we don't like that healing white light. Okay. So meditation can help in making your mind more calm and being mindful, and these are important qualities to have in that battle with anger. So even if you just do breathing meditation every day, you'll be able to be calm, and then hopefully, it's like they say, if you meditate for a couple of years or whatever, how can you tell you've been a success? You can just ask your friends and family. You know, another Monday night teacher here, Claire, she said that her dad noticed a difference in her behaviour, and he said, I don't know, whatever it is you're doing, Claire, just keep doing it. So that's how you can tell how other people respond to you, I think. One of the ways you can tell. Okay, but there's even more that meditation can do. It's not just there to make you calm and peaceful, although clearly they're amazing qualities if you can get there. Meditation, the other thing it does really well is it familiarises our mind with techniques, and in this case, to subdue anger. So, as I said before, when it arises, we're better prepared. So we're training ourselves in meditation to respond wisely to anger rather than respond in the heat of the moment. So we can do it like offline, like we practice the scenarios before they happen, because they do happen, and especially if you know your triggers. I think I mentioned going to a family gathering. You know, I know what my triggers are in advance now, so I'm better prepared. Always do a breathing meditation, so before I go, if nothing else. Okay. In one of the meditations we did, we observed the anger and we reframed the situation. So we saw it from a new perspective, a smarter perspective and a kinder perspective. So I said before that anger distorts things, so you don't quite know the real story. So it's not just what you think it is, so we can reframe. Could be other things going on. Okay, so adding to this, we can also visualise better responses to anger. Like I said, we can practice them. It's like I was talking about the golf swing. My partner used to play golf in the lounge room just to practice the swing, and I said last time I don't know anything about golf, so I'm obviously doing this wrong, but he was practising, so when he got out to the golf course, he could be better. The pathways, I think, we're talking about. Okay, so I've sort of broken this down into three things. One, with these meditations, are usually the same. You imagine a scenario when we're angry. You imagine a new way of seeing the situation, or other possibilities of what could be going on. Then we imagine ourselves responding better. So the scenario, reframe, respond better. And we'll do a little bit of that in a sec. So the more we visualise how we behave over and over again, the more we become familiar with these reactions. Okay, so it becomes a habit and easier to act out when we're in an angry situation in real life. Okay, let's do a short meditation illustrating this. So it's just be a short one. So just get into the position with a straight back. And our motivation might be to handle our anger in a smarter way. Okay, so to recap, we imagine the scenario when we're angry, we imagine a new way of seeing the situation, and then imagine ourselves responding better. Okay, so one, we're going to imagine a scenario. Imagine you're feeling angry because someone interrupted you in a conversation. So imagine that scenario of someone interrupting you in a conversation and you feel angry about that. So what are your initial thoughts? That's so rude. They don't respect me. Who do they think they are? I mean, I don't know, but what are your initial thoughts? Okay, so now we're going to reframe. Instead of getting caught in the storyline or the narrative of they wronged me, try to see the situation from a different perspective. They might not even realise they were interrupting. They might have had a reason for interrupting. Or consider whether the other person's behaviour might be due to their own problems. Maybe their partner just left them. Maybe their child had an accident at school. So you're seeing the situation from a different perspective other than, I'm right, they're wrong, they wronged me. And the third thing, imagine yourself responding better. Instead of shouting at them or talking to them sharply for interrupting or yelling at them or raising your voice, you could maybe take a deep breath. You could actually ask them to clarify why they interrupted you. You can talk to them rather than shout at them. And if the anger is still rising or they become angry, you could just say, I'm in the middle of something, let's talk about this later. Or you could walk off. Okay, so we'll just dedicate. May everyone be able to resolve their anger issues quickly and completely, or something like that. Okay, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. So that's just a simple example, but it can work. I mean, you can do that if something has happened at work or wherever. You can go to the cushion or just sit in the lounge room, whatever, kitchen chair. Shut your eyes and imagine the scenario that happened where you got angry or where you were about to get angry. Imagine the situation and then dig a bit deeper and find out what's going on, a new way of seeing it, just reframing it. And you can also even dig deep to see why it is that's happening there. Is your desire being blocked or things didn't pan out the way you want, expectations weren't met, or something like that, which will change the way you think about the situation. And then, I think most importantly, imagine yourself responding better in a different way. And the more you do that, then you'll be able to do it when you see the person next time if you're having a particular problem with a family member or person at work. A role play, when people do role plays, right, before interviews and things, you practice. So that's essentially what this is, I guess. Okay. Mantras. Okay. Sometimes within a meditation we say mantras. or even outside of meditation. So saying mantras can loosen the grip of anger, I guess because it takes your mind off the anger and off the situation. So just like focused breathing, you can do this at any time. A lot of people, you might see people around here with their malas or beads, and they just might be saying Om Mani Padme Hum. What have I done? Sorry, I somehow flicked it all away. Here we go. Sorry, this is my security blanket. I need it. Okay, so Om Mani Padme Hum, that's like a general one. General one of compassion. And then there's the Tara mantra. And Tara, that's the green Tara there. She's a female Buddha or goddess, and she's known for being quick to help. That's why she has her foot down, because she's ready to jump up and help people. And her mantra is Om Tare Tu Tare Soha. So you can Google it, or just Om Tare Tu Tare Soha. And that's one often you see Tibetans say, because she's their go-to girl. Okay, or go-to goddess. Okay, compassion. So the next strategy is to develop our compassion for others, and hopefully this kicks in before we get angry with someone. So compassion is the wish for others to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. We don't really want anybody to suffer. Well, not really, when you think about it. So you could add another step to the above meditation formula of imagine, reframe, and visualise a better response. We can extend the compassion to yourself and the other person. It's like that white light. We filled ourselves with white light, and we can fill other people with white light as well. So I'd like to talk about compassion a little bit more, as compassion is a central principle of Buddhism. We want to help people, we don't want to harm them. So if you get angry and start punching them or whatever, you're not really helping them, or helping yourself for that matter. So you want to help yourself, but we also want to help people and not harm them. I mean, there is a lot of suffering in the world, and understandably we can be angry with a lot of terrible things happening in the world right now. Now, I've spoken about, I'm going to quote a nun, Venerable Robina Courtin. She's an Australian nun who, she used to work in prison. She gives a lot of talks. She's got an Instagram account. She gives little short, sharp, beautiful, pithy little quotes and teachings on Buddhism. So that's Robina Courtin. And she says, we can help people without being angry, which means angry means being emotionally caught up. So we can help by being compassionate and ask, what can I do to help? It's like we talked about people at demonstrations. They go there and they think that anger motivates them, but they burn out. If you go from a point of compassion, you won't burn out. She gives an example of a guy kicking a dog. We have compassion for the dog, she says, but in the next millisecond it turns to anger towards the guy. The anger destroys everything. It doesn't help. Instead, ask, what can I do to help? Okay. So basically we've moved from, we don't want the anger to the guy, we want the compassion for the dog. That's what we want to concentrate on. All right. In the first week's meditation, we looked at our anger towards a flawed person who's angry, or who makes us angry. And we realised that we're all flawed. What do they say there? But for the grace of God go I. So you could be that person that had a tough day, and then you're short-tempered with people and making people angry because of your temper. So we diffuse the intensity of our anger when we shift the focus from our anger to empathy and understanding for the other person. Like before, the other nun, Thupten Chodron, said, you can ask them what's going on. Don't just assume and get angry and fly off the handle. Just just ask them, is something going on? Or what's going on? I mean, these are just strategies. It doesn't always work out like that, of course, but sometimes it could. So you can think of these as like a toolbox, and if it works, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, if there's some 6'2" gorilla that's yelling at me, I'm not going to... Well, maybe I would, I don't know. You have to assess the situation, have a chat. How are you going? What's going on? I don't know. But you assess your own situation. And for a radical idea, you could actually flip your angry response entirely and try to help them. It's a big ask, but the idea is that if you're angry with someone, instead of lashing out, try to hold them in your heart with loving kindness and compassion. Geshe Doga, a resident teacher here, he says to cherish them and hold them dear to your heart. Like I said, big ask. But it's a radical idea, an interesting idea, fascinating idea, and one worth considering, even if you just open up the door to that kind of behaviour. And also, if someone is crazy and angry, you give them a bit more leeway and feel sorry for them. Geshe Doga posits the question, is the person you're angry with, do they have self-control? He says no, because they are completely overpowered and overwhelmed by their own mental delusions. We've all got delusions, we've all got attachment. Well, perhaps not, I can't speak for all of you, but most people have attachments, anger, jealousy. We've got a lot of mental delusions. And anger can completely overwhelm you. Attachment can completely overwhelm you. Your desires can completely overpower and overwhelm you. So sometimes you don't have that self-control. So it's the delusions, not the person. So rather than showing anger back at them, show sympathy and compassion. I should follow my own advice. I'm trying with my brother. You can sort of start with people it's easier with, or maybe harder, but you can start with people it's easier with and then progress to the harder people. Like I said, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it with politicians, but maybe I can sit down on the cushion, reframe the situation with some of the easier politicians rather than the hardcore ones I don't like, and then imagine the scenario, reframe the situation, visualise a different response. Perhaps have a chat with them or whatever. Or just send them white light. That's as far as I've gotten. But anyway, these are the things, I can get it intellectually, we all can, so that's why it's worth thinking about. If you've got the karma, we'll talk about the karma later, but you may have the karma to actually get it and have the ability to start doing it. And some of you may find that easier than others. Okay, for me actually it helps if I think, how would I deal with a child who has no control over their emotions? Would I be angry with them? People seem to have more compassion for children rather than adults when they get under our skin. We're patient with children up to a point, so we could try channeling that patience with adults. Children don't always know what they're doing, but then this also applies to adults. So all this is about softening the anger we have towards them and not letting the anger control us. So you can try to have a perfect response, that would be fantastic, and if you do, that's great, but we're just trying to chip away at it. We're trying to replace the anger with more positive thoughts. We're trying to, all those things I spoke about before, those heaps and heaps of points at the beginning. So Venerable Thupten Chodron, another nun, American nun, says to understand the other person's needs and concerns. Then you'll get an insight into why they are behaving the way they do. So we have a little idea of how a situation appears to another person, so we can ask them, We can listen to them. And then you might find out that they're completely different to what you thought they were, because you assume all this stuff when you're angry about someone. And then all that other stuff you've been spinning around is just been created by your own mind. Okay, now there's also compassion towards yourself, which then flows outward to others. A couple of weeks ago, someone here mentioned being angry with herself. And I spoke about self-worth and self-love and compassion for yourself, and trying for her to look at some good things about herself. So in Bob Sharple's book, there's, I think I mentioned before his book, Meditation, Calming the Mind. He talks about meditation as an act of love towards yourself, a way of making friends with yourself to heal and to deal with anger. And in his book, Bob says that if he was ever going to help others, it would only happen when he was able to be deeply kind and loving towards himself. So he says it is only when you're a friend to yourself that you can be a friend to the world, which you need to be when you're dealing with people making you angry. Okay, so we can do a meditation on compassion. This is the classic friend, enemy, stranger meditation, which you may have done. And it loosens the categories that we tend to place people in. Like we have strong thoughts about who our friends are. We've got strong thoughts about who our enemies are, or people that we find difficult. Okay, so we're going to sort of break those boundaries, even though we know things change. We don't think people change, but they can. All right. So again, find a comfortable position. Back straight, please. It sounded like an order, but so back straight, please. And the eyes, however, if you're comfortable, and try to be relaxed. Okay, so the motivation could be to deepen our compassion. So just take a deep breath. So visualise in front of you 3 people. On the left, a good friend. In the middle, a stranger. To the right, an enemy or someone you find difficult. So we'll concentrate on the friend. So we'll examine your feelings towards them. So think of all their good qualities and how they enrich your life. You know, why do you like them? Now concentrate on the stranger and examine your feelings towards them. They, just like everyone else, want to be happy and not suffer. I mean, your feelings are no doubt neutral because they're a stranger, but you can still wish that they be happy and try to generate some warm feelings towards them. Now the difficult person. Concentrate on them and examine your feelings towards them. Acknowledge that it's hard even thinking of them. but think how they, just like you, want to be happy and avoid suffering. Okay, we'll return to the stranger and realise that this person can easily become your friend or enemy in the future. Look at the friend. This person may become your enemy in the future. We may already know people like that. Someone who was a friend and is now not a friend. Think of an example where this has happened to you. Now look at the difficult person or the enemy and realise that this person could well become your friend in the future. Can you imagine another setting where this person could be a friend? It might help to think of some positives about this person. Now, with your friend, that love and appreciation and warm feelings you have for your friend, extend that to the stranger. And again, thinking of the warm feelings you have towards your friend, try to feel that while you're thinking about your enemy or the difficult person. Try to have the feelings towards that person, but if you can't, try to hold that feeling while you're looking at them in your visualisation. And now for the last thought, think that all three of them, the friend, the stranger and the enemy, they are all completely equal in trying to become happy and trying to avoid suffering. All of them want to be happy. All of them want to avoid suffering. Okay, so we'll dedicate the energy, the positive energy. Now, I found this from, I'm just going to read it because it's so cute, this nice little dedication. It's from a verse from the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. May I be a bridge and a ship for those who want to cross the water. May I be an island for those who seek one, and a lamp for those desiring light. May I be a bed for all those wish to rest and a servant to those who need help. Or you might just want to dedicate that everybody be happy. So just open your eyes, wriggle around, and we'll finish there. So it's interesting in that meditation, when you think of your friend, the warm feelings of love and just the warm feelings in general, and then thinking of the enemy, you don't want someone you don't like to ruin your peace and to ruin your warm feelings. So that was the thing that struck me, apart from realising that friends can turn to enemies, enemies, can turn to friends, strangers can turn into either one. So those barriers can be quite fluid. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of dealing with anger is changing our perspective. Gratitude is another one. So Lama Zopa, he's one of the founders of this whole world. We're part of a worldwide organisation, and he is on the left there. He's passed away now, they both have, but Lama Zopa's on the left and Lama Yeshe on the right. So Lama Zopa says, instead of being angry with people who have upset or harmed you, you must express gratitude to them for their kindness. I mean, it's not intended, their kindness, I don't believe, because without their help, you won't get a chance to practice. They reveal your weaknesses and flaws. If you were sitting in a cave meditating and reading and thinking, you've got nothing to test you. It's the whole thing about meditating on top of the hill, and you think you're so great, and you come down the hill and then you see the traffic and, I don't know, whatever's going on, people in front of you, whatever the city does to make people angry. So yeah, sitting in the cave, in a room on your own, whatever, you're okay, but you've got nothing to test you. So when you think of people who annoy you or make you angry, he says you need to think of them as your spiritual teacher, because they're giving you an opportunity. These people are often referred to as a precious jewel, short for a precious wish-fulfilling jewel. Sometimes you hear Buddhists, it's sort of like a bit of a joke, they call people that annoy them, oh, you're my precious jewel. It's a bit passive-aggressive, I guess, But they are your precious jewel. If they start to annoy you, they're showing you that something's coming up in you. So you can thank them for revealing something that you need to work on. That's one way to look at it. So remember to thank them. They may have brought you here in this room. They may have brought you to, I think I accused my mum once, oh, I'm going to Buddhism because of you, but I should have thanked her. But anyway, so you may be drawn to a book because of them. So you can thank them for that they even brought you to a different place. Or you can thank them because not only you understood something more about yourself, but you've learnt something from them. Doesn't mean you have to be their best friend. You can still avoid them. Okay. Forgiveness is a big one a lot of people struggle with, and that's an interesting tool for letting go of anger. And it's important to remember that forgiving people for their harmful behaviour is not condoning their behaviour or expecting them to change. As Thupten Chodron says, the nun I mentioned before, as long as we hold on to our resentment, and that's basically anger that's not processed, as long as we hold on to our resentment, we can never forgive others, and our lack of forgiveness hurts no one but ourselves. Eats up at you. You don't want that. And why do you want to waste your time and energy on being angry with someone else? Do something else. She says that forgiving means we stop tying up our life's energy in being angry at a person. We can't undo the past, and suggests looking at that situation from a different perspective, as we've talked about. also, she adds, if we made a mistake, we would like others to understand our point of view and forgive us our mistakes. So why not try forgiving theirs? But one of my favourite quotes about forgiveness I actually saw on Instagram. I've screenshotted it and referred to it from time to time. Forgiveness doesn't excuse their behaviour. Forgiveness prevents their behaviour from destroying your heart. So that's the reason you forgive for yourself, really. They might not even be interested in forgiveness. They might not even care whether you forgive them or not. It's really for you, you're doing it. Okay. What are we, 1:45? Oh, yeah. 10 to. Oh, no, I've got a whole lot on karma. I'll just do a little bit. I might just a little intro into karma, and I'll work on that. I'll talk about that next week, as well as because all these strategies that we've been talking about, they won't stop the anger completely. The only way to do that is to look at emptiness and to have the wisdom. So you've got to work on the wisdom and got to work on seeing. I keep saying that anger, you're not really seeing the situation. And what was that quote? In terms of anger, anger is a distorted state of mind that misapprehends its object. So we don't really understand the object. So we're going to dissect, it's a profound statement, we'll dissect that next week, looking more deeply at the desires, expectations and attachments. Now, actually we're going to do questions, but I'll just quickly introduce karma. So another perspective to look at anger is from the perspective of karma. So karma is basically what goes around comes around. So every action or thought has a consequence. So there's no need for you to be angry with someone who's done something negative, because karma will get them in the end. Right? But moreover, and this is a really interesting point, Geshe Doga, he says not to be angry at things happening to you as they have resulted from the ripening of your own past actions. So there's no one to be angry with. It's something you've set in train a long time ago, either in this life or in a past life. So you've created the problem. You can even see that on a level like in the workplace. This has happened, whatever stoush you've got with your colleague, that didn't just start today. That started a while back. So there's something going on there, and it's playing out now. So it's not in isolation, I guess is what I'm saying. So you've got to accept the problem as if Buddhists believe it's caused by your past actions, but at least you can think that your past actions have contributed to the problem. Okay. I think I'll leave it there. I'll talk about that more next week. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good quotes I have next week. So are there any questions? I'll be in the dining room anyway. We can chat further there. Just a couple of quick announcements. We should really rejoice that we've been here, and we can dedicate maybe, to... May everyone be able to deal with their anger quickly and effectively. So next week we'll look at the ultimate strategy, wisdom. Okay, quick announcements. I've spoken about that tanka. This is a tanka. It's a painting. It can also be sewn or whatever, but we've got a giant 21 taras tanka with the central green tara and other taras around her. Tara number 15 is good for purifying anger. But this giant tanka, 15 metres high, 9 metres wide, almost like a 5-storey building, it will be displayed at the Melbourne Town Hall. I think you've seen the flyers and the note up on the notice board, and that's on election day, so vote early if you want to see it, or Oh, it's open from 9 to 5 at the Melbourne Town Hall, so you can have a look at it. It's part of a Vesak celebration, so there's a whole heap of other Buddhist centres coming, like from Thailand, well, not from Thailand, but the Thai community, the Vietnamese community, the Indian community, and there's a huge procession from 1 o'clock up from Parliament House Gardens down Collins Street to the Melbourne Town Hall. Come and see that, then come and have a look at the painting. So the procession's really fun. They've got banners, they've got, I don't know, not the dragons, but other stuff they've got. So yeah, it's fun. Ribbons. There's a flyer outside. There's some flyers in the Gompa. Yep, sorry.
Sorry, what time is it?
It's, my glasses. It's 4 minutes to 9. Sorry. Oh, what time is it? 10 to 5. Sorry, I thought you meant now you want to go home. 10 to 5. It's 10 a.m. Oh, the procession is 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock at the gardens at the thanks for that. At Parliament House, and that's great. Kids love it too. Oh yeah, there's flyers just out there. So take a flyer or 3, put them in your library, yoga centre, whatever, or on your fridge. The other thing I always talk about is what I call the Monday night book. There's only a few copies left. I think Carla's opening the bookshop tonight, so it's only $15. Full of wonderful Monday night talks. This is an interesting one. If anyone is interested in the history of this building and the stories, the architecture, that's a famous Alan Sumner, the noted artist. He did this stained glass window behind you in the 70s, I think. And the history of the building, from its Indigenous links to the stockbroker J.B. Ware to the Mayor of whatever you call it, MLA for Brighton, to the nuns. There's a picture of the nuns in the dining room with their flying nun hats. They used to run this place too. So interesting history, interesting architecture. The woman who usually runs the history tours, she's looking for people to help her. And that could be for open day when we have them here, just in general. So if you're interested in that, you can email the office and let them know. And she'll be training people. You don't have to run the whole tour by yourself. I think she is going to put people at key stops and you'll have a script. But if you're interested in that sort of thing, contact the office. Okay, so see you in the dining room for cake and tea and 2 minutes before 9. So if you do have a quick question, no, we'll do that there. You can go. Thank you.